Now broadcasting on your favorite podcast platform, it's the Maverick Do It Different podcast with your host, Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. When you want to step up and dare to be different, when you will dare to be great and live up to your fullest potential, when you are ready to dare to be a maverick and live the life of your dreams, filled with abundance, passion, and joy, then it's time to listen to me, Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and the Maverick Do It Different podcast. And welcome. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and this is the amazing podcast. And we've got some amazing people on here who have created a difference in their world and in turn create a difference for the world around us. And the person that I have with us today is one of our amazing authors in a book, and we co-authored in this book, Network Marketing 2.0 Revealed, and really talking about the impact that network marketing is having and that how this person is utilizing network marketing in the world to really make a change and an impact on other people's lives. So I want to welcome our author and, well, first of all, single mom, entrepreneur, so many people can relate, and a breast cancer thriver. And we'll talk more and more about that as we go through this. Also has a huge background, BA in biology and MA in early childhood special education. And this is really important. As she went on, it has done a ton of work in early intervention and early intervention program. She was assistant director for New York City, correct? Early intervention program. And now works within the network marketing community and really helping people in so many ways. Please welcome Lisa Cassenti to our podcast. I am so pleased to have you here. Thank you so much. Tell us a little bit more about the rest of the story, if you will, on how you got to this place in your life.
Sure. And Paul, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to spend with me and letting me share my story. Stories are so impactful.
Yeah.
So I will start at the beginning. So a lot of people have asked me, Lisa, what are you doing now? What's going on in your life? So I tell people that I've almost become like the accidental entrepreneur. So essentially, I'll try to give it to you. I'll sum it up a bit, but I was working a lot. I had become a single mama when my daughter was just 1 month old. Okay, and it was tough. It was really tough getting back to work and all of that. Going back after maternity leave, I had some challenges. I actually had postpartum depression and things like that. So going back to work was really challenging. I couldn't afford daycare. So I was looking for something that I was going to be able to do from home. And I was offered a position that I would be able to oversee a program and work remotely. But the hours I was working was astronomical. It was for a startup company. I worked basically 7 days a week, including holidays, and I was trying to do that in between taking care of my new baby, breastfeeding her, challenges there, and co-parenting with her dad, which was very difficult at the time. And my family told me, Lisa, you're not sleeping, you're not doing any self-care, you sleep maybe 3 hours a night, something is going to happen. Well, something did happen. When my daughter was 9 months, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I had already known that the breast cancer had gone into my lymph nodes. That was one of the most terrifying times in my life, because I had my little girl at 9 months. I'm a single mama, and I knew that I wanted to live my life and be there for her. And I had no idea what was going to happen to me. So I'll go on to just say that I knew that I was going to do whatever I could to restore my health. And that meant doing alternatives as well as doing some Western medical interventions. And anybody that knows me knows that. Say that again, Paul?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, your story is so So similar to so many, and yet it doesn't get told enough. And going through the journey and the fear alone, it can be overwhelming, let alone the reality of the components that you were responsible for, that you had to take charge of while you're going through this personally, for your own health, is a journey that isn't talked about enough, and yet so common.
It's so common. I can't tell you how many people that I talk to, that I meet when I network, that have told me about health journeys because they have not taken care of themselves. They've taken care of everybody else,
Right.
did so many hours with work and, busting their tushies off for someone else's dream. Let's face it, that startup company was not my dream. It was a way to make money to support me and my daughter. And look what happened. And, it's quite possible the cancer would have come anyway. I have the genetic predisposition, but I got myself there quicker because of everything I went through. So basically, I realized that the way that I was living was not a healthy way to live. And I was putting healthy things in my body, but not in my mind, and not taking care of myself from the other standpoint. So when I realized, I actually put a quote in the book, and it's a Tony Robbins quote. And Tony Robbins says, the person with perfect health has a million dreams, and the person with poor health has one. My one motivation was to restore myself back to abundant health. Yeah. All the things I worried about before, they meant nothing. They didn't matter. So I was on a journey to.
Yeah, it's amazing. My wife, and we've talked about this, my wife also has gone through the challenge of cancer, if you will, and gone through that battle. And it's amazing her intense focus when she got diagnosed, going right to, I'm going to figure this out. And if you don't become your own doctor and go and basically become get your medical degree while you're going through this, I'm amazed. Almost everyone I know, they do that deep dive because they feel like there's answers out there, and they want to know, because they've got a singular focus of, it's my life. It's now or never.
It's right. And that's what happens. And it was the focus, and it was, what am I going to do to make sure that I'm here? So exactly. And this, I swear that I will get to the story of how I came to do what I'm doing, which is network marketing. But what ended up happening is I couldn't fulfill my responsibilities while going through all the treatments I was going through. I couldn't fulfill those responsibilities anymore. The working the 7 days a week, the putting things in at midnight. And I told the company that. And what I said to myself is, I'm never, ever going to let myself get to this point again. My focus is to restore my health, be with my daughter for however long that is that I have. And that is my intense focus. And so while I was searching for answers, one of my dearest friends, she dragged me out to this yoga class, and I'm serious. And she said, Lisa, because I was in a very bad way. I was in a bad way mentally and just physically. I wasn't being the mom I wanted to be, because I wanted to lay in the bed. And she literally dragged me out and said, you're coming with me to this yoga class. And it was there that I met this yoga teacher, that at the end of class, she came up to me, and I clearly had the look of cancer. I had no hair, not even eyelashes. So she knew what was happening. And she said, Lisa, I know you don't know me, but I feel very compelled to share something with you. And she said, I don't know what this can do for your health, but me and my husband, we educate people on a health and science breakthrough. And I don't know what it can do for you, but it can't hurt you. Are you open? Well, she had no idea that here I am, I was going to do anything I could to just live. But I had no idea. I thought she was going to tell me some goji berry juice, or she was going to offer me some vitamins or something. And I said,
Right.
I know what I'm doing with nutrition, that, what is this going to do? But I was open to learning. And a lot of times we do things for people we love, not necessarily ourselves.
Yeah.
So I thought, when I started learning, I was open, and I learned from her and her husband.
Right.
And I learned from them because my father was suffering greatly. See, 3 years and 3 months before I had this conversation with the yoga teacher, my father had a major stroke, and it basically killed 90% of his cerebellum. So that's the part of the brain that controls your balance, your coordination, how you move in space. So I won't go into detail about my dad's life, but let's just say he was living a torturous existence, and we couldn't find any. I'm so sorry. I never mean to talk over you, Paul. There's like a delay because of Zoom, but my father describes it to everybody as the way he was living was like, think about the drunkest you had ever been in your whole life, where you're hugging the toilet and you're, not to sound horrible, but you're throwing up and you're saying, I will never do this again. Please just get me through this. That was how my dad's day was, 24/7. The world was literally spinning for him every second of every day. And at the 2-year mark, we were told by neurologists, they said to my dad, Mr. Cassenti, there's nothing more we can do. This is life. This is what life is going to be like, and you're going to have to figure it out. And we couldn't accept that. That's very hard to accept. So I learned about something, which I won't get into it, but it's very scientific. But I learned about something that my father could just use. It wasn't going to harm him. And there was a liquid and a gel. And I told my father, I'm putting you on this. And my father said, are you crazy? What are you doing? And I said, Dad, the cancer's in my lymph nodes. Will you do this for me? And then my father had to say yes. And what happened, Paul, is in 3.5 days, my father said he had an epiphany. 3.5 days into using this stuff, we called it the stuff. His eyes were closed. And when he opened his eyes in that moment, 3 days and 12 hours later, the world stopped spinning for my father. And he got his life back. And I got my father back. And I know this story is absolutely incredible, but what happened is the stuff, not only did it get into my brain that I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? But it got into my heart. It became my mission. And that's how I got into network marketing. It was a network marketing company. And let me tell you, I am grateful every single day that it came to me via network marketing. I am grateful every single day that the founder of the company made ethical decisions so that it could come to me. I'm grateful every day that that yoga teacher opened up her mouth, and she was scared to do it. So every day, and the things that I've seen, so this has become my mission. So I've come completely from being in corporate America to being an entrepreneur.
Yes. I have to highlight some major points in your story. One is that the only reason you're here, the only reason that you found your mission and your purpose, the only reason that you helped your father is that you refused to accept what our society says are the intelligent people that we're supposed to listen to.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I want you to hear, it's so many people accept what our society tells us is our course of life. And the people that say, no, I refuse to accept that, I know there's something better for me, actually find it.
Yes, because I was looking for it. I put that out in the universe. We never gave up on my father. And
God bless.
there are people that give up hope every day.
Yes.
Um, I
Yeah.
met a can I share another story, Paul?
Please,
I know
please.
really briefly. So I think I shared with you, I'm very excited because I am launching a breast cancer support group. It's a virtual
You're
one
here.
with 3 amazing ladies, and we're doing that February 8th. And
Awesome.
it's called The Breast Connection. So last night we met with Tara Coyote, she's the best-selling author of Grace, Grit, and Gratitude. We met
Awesome.
with her because she's going to be our first guest speaker, and she is lovely. She had stage 4 breast cancer, had gone into hospice, and was basically thought this was the end for her. She is living now and sharing with other people what she did. And she was in hospice. Who do you know that comes out of hospice?
Right.
And it was because of her mindset, and it was because
Yeah.
she refused. That was in her mind. I refuse this. It doesn't matter that I'm stage 4 and I'm in hospice.
No.
This is not where I'm meant to be. And when you look at her, she is the vibrant picture of health. And so it's possible. And it's mindset. It's so many things, but you have to have the hope, and you have to believe that you can get
You're
there.
here.
You don't have to know the how, but you will get there.
And this is true. And now you're speaking my language, with my background in psychology and understanding the human condition, is that it transcends the medical process. It transcends the business process. It's everything in our life, is that mind over matter, and that you can create the universe that you want. I truly believe that. And when you put it to work, man, magic happens. Magic happens. There's so much out there for you. Yeah.
It does. I'm
Very excited.
yes.
I want to, absolutely amazing. Now, here's one key question, and I want we've run towards the end of time. I want to really get a concise answer from you, and that is, with everything that you've gone through, can you pinpoint the thing that really made you different? Because there are people that wallow in the same scenario. There are people that just curl up and put their head under in the sand, put under the covers, and say, you know what, I'm done. But you didn't. You've come through the test of time. You're doing amazing things all around the world right now. And what makes you different? What made the journey different for you particularly?
Well, so a couple of things. So one is that I knew that could never give up, because I had my little girl, who is a miracle to begin with. It's a miracle that she's here. And so that was just, I pictured myself constantly. I pictured myself in the future with her, looking back at the pictures of us going through this journey together. And she was very much a part of it. So I just had that in my mind. And as I was searching for answers, I read some books by Dr. Bernie Siegel, and he talked about the exceptional patient. What makes someone with the same diagnosis, what makes them have different outcomes? And so I just told myself, I'm going to be the exceptional patient. And then it morphed into, I'm going to be the exceptional person. And part of that is a big part of it is what actually Drew Berman always asks us to think about, is what is the best possible outcome for every single situation. So for me, when I was going through all of my health stuff, I wasn't thinking about the chemo going in my body as being poison. I thought of it very differently. I was in gratitude. And what is the best possible outcome? That this chemo is only going to affect the cancer cells and none of my healthy cells. Did I know logically that that was probably unlikely? It didn't matter. That was what I was thinking in my head. And always, what is the best possible outcome with every single, whatever test I had to do, anything, like even this podcast, what's the best possible outcome here? So, Paul, I think I lost you for a second. Are you there?
Sorry about that. Yes, indeed. No,
That's
the
okay.
audio came through just fine. So
Okay.
we'll snippet a little bit of that.
That's okay.
With everything, yes, and the mindset and what you've done and what you've been able to create is amazing. What's next for you? You talked about some of it. You highlighted a couple things. What's next?
What's next? Well, next is, I believe I have a few stories to be told out there to help transform lives, right? That's the chapter in the book. So that I transform lives by restoring hope, health, and happiness. So continuing to grow my team. I have a team that is international. I love them. They've become my family. I love them so much. So a big part of just continuing to grow my team, get the word out, writing more, speaking more, and basically paying it forward for the breast cancer community, the cancer community in general, anybody with a health challenge, by coming to people through the Breast Connection, which is our group. And so this is very, very important. And also instilling in my daughter the belief that she really can create the life she wants to live, and teaching that to our generation now, because if they have that mindset, if they're not squashed by the thought that you are limited, like my daughter's mind is expansive. She doesn't feel limits in any way. I want to continue to grow that.
That's great. Yeah, my vision of what great parenting is to help our children become just vibrant, contributing adults to society that are living their fullest potential. And you are in the process of doing exactly that. Got a lightning round. I want to ask you a couple things. Let people get to know you just a little bit better. Your favorite book that you would recommend others to read.
Okay, so my favorite book to recommend others to read in terms of business and entrepreneurship, actually in terms of relationships too, would be Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. That is a timeless book.
Here. Couldn't agree more. My grandfather took the course with Dale Carnegie himself. I have the book that he used in that course, one of my prized possessions. Couldn't agree with you more. Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, and you're going to laugh, Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, because it makes me laugh. Listen,
absolutely.
Laughter is so important. I'm not talking about a cerebral movie. I'm talking about my favorite. I need laughs. That's movie.
It. So now everyone, you know what type of personality Lisa has. You understand who she is. Yeah, indeed. Your favorite singer and band?
Tori Amos is my absolute favorite singer. Her voice melts me.
Beautiful. So. Awesome. With everything that we've got people that are listening to us all around the world. I appreciate and love you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Lisa, to deliver a message, your final thoughts to everyone that's listening here, whether it's on business or personal, we touch it all here. What are your final thoughts you want to share?
So as my daughter just walks in, by the way, so my final thoughts are really just, well, I'd like to say something about network marketing in general, because I think it's really important. The reason that we co-authored this book is for people to really have a better understanding of what network marketing is. I know that network marketing is the ultimate way to elevate people. It's the ultimate way to teach people how to fish. I think that it is the most wonderful thing, and that everybody should really take a look at it. because it's a great way that you can, for so many things, for so many reasons. It's a way to develop yourself personally. It's a way for you to really think about your dreams and achieving them. It's a way for you to be with like-minded individuals. So the next time someone mentions something to you about network marketing, be open-minded and hear them, and don't think of the old world view of network marketing, because this is very much real and here to stay. So you might as well join the party and get educated on it.
It is exploding all around the world. There's no question, because people are looking for answers. They're looking for alternatives in so many different ways. And on a business level, it absolutely gives alternatives, as well as brand new products that no one else is looking at. So there's great alternatives across the board. Lisa Cassenti, thank you so much for being here. This was such a great pleasure. And I want everyone to know, you want to hear more, to engage with Lisa, to talk to her more, go ahead. Her information is right here. Go ahead and reach out. You've got direct information here available so that you can really connect and continue this conversation with Lisa. For all of you, thank you so much for being here. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. This is the Maverick Do It Different podcast. Till next time, everyone. Thanks for listening to Paul Finck. That's me, the Maverick Millionaire, and the Maverick Do It Different podcast. You can listen to us anytime, 24/7 on your podcast listening platform of choice. Introduce us to your friends, give us 5-star rating and subscribe, and share us across all your social media platforms to anyone that could really utilize this message right now. Till next time, everyone.